You know, for me, I think that kind of makes that theory kind of, that's the theory I believe in. But that could, I think that kind of makes that theory wonky. Because what if he just would have caught up to Starkiller in the middle of the game and killed him? I don't think that would have been a part of Vader's plan.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we don't know exactly what Vader was trying to do. There's a few theories. One is that Vader has the original Starkiller reconnect with these people, so that when he finally kills him, he can replace that Starkiller with this new clone that's loyal to him.
Yeah.
That way, Vader now has
like a spy
in the rebellion, just like he always wanted.
Yeah.
Like just in the beginning of the game. So that's one theory. Another is that this is just a clone, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to. It kind of feels like this game is missing just like that last monologue of saying what was happening. It feels like it needs an epilogue saying, "Remember this? This is what that was about."
Yeah.
And if there is no Force Unleashed 3, then we're gonna need maybe some heavy downloadable content to be able to
download content.
Yeah.
I don't better be making something.
I don't want DLC. I mean, I would just have to say I want a sequel, improved game engine, improved enemies, improved everything.
longer.
I want
longer.
I'd be happy with free DLC that just keeps adding new levels.
Well, yeah, they keep doing that.
they in the first one they added the Jedi Temple. They added in Tatooine and Hoth, even though like those were all the alternate ending.
Yeah, they were infinities, as Star Wars calls it.
So but if they did the same thing with this, but I think they should make a couple free or something like that, just because it was so short,
cool.
But I mean, they could do the same thing and just kind of expand a little bit with DLC.
Whenever spoilers hit the net about this game, is that people were going crazy about Darth Vader is captured. Hayden Blackman is ruining Darth Vader. George Lucas has no idea what made Darth Vader good. But
I'm sure George doesn't know anything about Darth Vader.
I'm sure he doesn't know anything. The maker. But yeah, definitely. When you really take the dark side ending into account, that that's not the case at all. It's actually completely different. Darth Vader is completely in control of his situation,
and he has a backup plan if something goes wrong.
Yeah, look at what they did in the first game. Then you know what I mean.
Yep.
Of course, it started a rebellion. But...
And what really gets me excited is I absolutely loved how the first game started out with a Darth Vader mission, and I can totally see a Darth Vader mission of you busting out of a rebel prison ship or something.
Yeah.
For that first level, that'd be so much fun.
So I think they need to take him to Dantooine because he's on that ship with Starkiller and Juno.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's not much busting out of there.
They said they found in ruins there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe Darth Vader just he knows that Dantooine's there.
The only way you can have Darth Vader on Dantooine is if one, he has no idea what Dantooine looks like, or I don't know if Anakin ever went to Dantooine, if he knows what that is, but if he does escape, and he has a ship, that ship would have a log of the nav computer of where he was. So there has to be some way of
what if
of having him not know he was on Dantooine.
Well, don't they say that when they go to Dantooine it just ruins because the base?
Yeah, they said that they said a rebel base was there and it's no longer there.
They found the remains of a
Wouldn't it be
base.
cool if they retconned it and they made it look like there was like a battle there?
Yeah, but why wouldn't Vader know where he was?
Because maybe the Emperor told Vader doesn't want anyone to know. You know what I mean? Well, it's part of him and the Emperor.
I don't really like that because that makes it seem like if Vader is withholding information, why would he withhold it? He needs to have the rebel base. Why would he have Tarkin waste his time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't. As much as you want to play with different story threads. Retconning EU or retconning, like a game or a TV series or something is
it's a serious issue.
It's not it's serious, but it's definitely not as serious as retconning the movies, especially the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Whenever you mess with a tent from then, it's always gonna be met with extreme backlash, even from people that really like those kind of games.
Well, it's just like when they say the opening crawl that they just experienced their first victory.
Yeah,
that's a retcon.
It's not a retcon. It's just saying this is that victory.
Well, I mean, with Dantooine, they can just say that, like...
but that changes Vader's intent as a character.
I guess you're right.
That makes it seem like he not only he knows what he's doing. He's just not saying anything. I don't necessarily like that. In that moment, Vader is, he's mad that Leia isn't giving him the information he needs. Why would he have Tarkin waste his time going to a place he knows that rebels aren't at? What needs to happen is Vader either needs to
because maybe he thinks Tarkin is going to blow up Coruscant with the Death Star.
That's stupid.
I know.
What?
Anyway,
well, it's in the books they talk about like Vader's actually okay, and when you watch episode 4, it makes it seem like Tarkin's in charge of Vader, but really, as you know of all Star Wars now, he isn't.
Yeah.
But I read later that they kind of made it so the Emperor sent Vader there to be kind of like a quote unquote under Tarkin's Tarkin was kind of in control of the Death Star. But the Emperor just sent Tarkin there because he expected Tarkin he expected Tarkin was going to betray the Emperor. He had the Death Star, the most powerful weapon in the galaxy. But no, Vader found out and reported back to the Emperor that Tarkin is very loyal to the Emperor. End of the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But either way, I would rather them just figure out a different way of doing this than changing the intent of a character from a movie that was 30 years in the making. I don't want to think I've been watching this wrong for 30 years.
Whether he escapes before, but either way, though, Boba Fett still knows. But I mean, he's not getting paid to tell Vader any information. He's getting paid to kill Starkiller.
Yeah, but ideally, Vader escapes before he ever gets to that rebel base.
Yeah, I can see Boba Fett catching him.
But when you think about it, Vader wants to come to the base.
This is the answer. How does Boba what was Boba Fett hired? Was his plan really the whole time to get Starkiller back? You think?
No, he was hired to bring in Juno.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, if that's the case, then why was he hunting down Starkiller there on Catanamodia?
He was tracking Starkiller. I don't remember exactly. I mean,
he was definitely tracking.
In the beginning, when he's with the other bounty hunter, he's tracking Starkiller. He's after Starkiller to take him out. But then he goes back to Camino, gets troops to go get Juno.
I think he just goes there to investigate.
Maybe he's going there trying to figure out what. See, I don't think he.
Well, in the beginning of the graphic novel, if I remember correctly, the beginning of the graphic novel, Vader says you need to hunt down Starkiller, and then he calls him to Camino and says you need to find the woman, bring her to me, and he'll follow. So the original bounty still stands, bringing Starkiller. But Vader is he had proxy wanting to kill Starkiller his whole life.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point.
I don't think it's really important what the role of Boba Fett is in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he can have Starkiller die, he would.
I think Boba Fett is a great distraction to keep. The idea of the perfect deception is to have details. You put too many details in front of somebody's face, they're not going to. Sleight of hand. You're worried about Boba Fett, you're not going to see the fact that you're doing exactly what I want you to do,
Yeah, I guess it's a good point. It makes him seem more cunning.
But when it comes to Force Unleashed 3, if we ever get one, which
we will.
We better.
We will. I mean, come on.
Well, people said that about Republic Commando 2, they said that about Battlefront 3, they said that about Knights of the Old Republic 3, sometimes LucasArts doesn't deliver. There hasn't been a Jedi Knight sequel in a really long time.
Yeah.
But anyway, but none of those games ended on a cliffhanger like this game did, really.
No, not really. I mean, this
Republic Commando kind of, but
this one has to pick up something.
Yeah, you have to,
You figured the way they ended it, they planned on making a third one.
But with the way to not change Episodes 4 character intent of Darth Vader not knowing where Dantooine is you cannot have him find out where he is. I mean, preferably he never gets there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to get there, so something needs to happen where it's not him escaping and then getting out because he's where he wants to be. So something else has to happen. Maybe I don't know.
You think Boba Fett would release him?
Boba Fett maybe messes up the plan and saves him before he gets to Dantooine.
That could be. It's I don't know.
I don't know where it could go, but I mean, there's lots of options.
It's a good thing it has me guessing. It's good that I can't guess what's going to happen.
Yeah, love it or hate it, this game, this story of the Force Unleashed, the story of Starkiller, Darth Vader's secret apprentice, raises a lot of questions, a lot of debate, good and bad.
Yeah, it gives a lot of questions and doesn't really provide us with a lot of answers, does it?
It doesn't. No. It's like Lost.
It gives us some clues as to if he's a clone or not. In one of those extra cutscenes, we see what appears to be the body of the original Starkiller floating in the Camino.
Yeah.
Which, is that the original Starkiller? Is that his body? Is that this clone? Is that this clone that we're talking about that you're playing? Is that the actual Starkiller and he's maybe in stasis or in a healing trance or something, and then when he wakes up, Vader starts selling the deception that you're a clone? Or is that just the body and they use it as the source? But actually, whenever you read the data bank that came with this game, which was, I love the data bank in this game because rather than just give you stats of the characters, it gives you in-universe stories. Which really expands, the scope of the game for, we talk about how short it is, but when you read that, it seems a lot bigger,
Yeah.
But one of the scientists is talking about how they don't have the original clone
Mm-hmm.
or the original body.
Yeah.
So taking that into light, does that mean that does Vader just tell them that he doesn't have it, but he really does, or is that just is that just the clone? I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's because they don't have the original body because the original body's still alive.
Yeah.
That's who you're playing as.
It could be.
It needs to be answered, and my vote is I would love for that to be Starkiller.
That would be cool.
I would love for that to be really him, because in other things we've been talking about, I'm not really fond of the idea that you clone somebody and that's them. You know.
Well, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not them. That's just a copy. That person that was original there. I mean, if this is a clone, then that's not Starkiller. Starkiller is dead.
That's like saying all the clone troopers in the Clone Wars are all Jango Fett.
Well, I mean, yeah, but to granted, those guys are altered. This Vader is trying to find a perfect clone, which he ultimately gets with the Dark clone.
Yeah.
The Dark Apprentice.
Yeah, but he's got to be altered too. Then I would assume.
Because
I mean,
he's not altered. He just he doesn't have Juno in his life.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have the memories.
Yeah, it's perfect to Vader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you see that because when he walks by the body.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of sad moment too. I
Yeah.
thought. So ultimately, we all here we love this game. We love the story. We love the questions it provided. We love how it sets up greatly a third game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a little frustrated that it's so short. I'm very frustrated it's so short. Okay, but overall, I thought the game improved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just need to take what they did and do more of it.
I think so too.
You know what I mean?
And if you're gonna charge us $80 for a collector's edition,
yeah, do Modern Warfare. Throw some like goggles in it or something.
Yeah, you gotta do a little bit more something than a.
Give me an FX Saber.
Yeah.
No,
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Custom made hilt. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be
Something
great.
useful.
Oh, we'll be getting a few of those here in a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan Weaver.
Courtesy
You're
of
listening.
Ryan Weaver.
Yeah, Ryan Weaver. Thank you.
You suck. I'm kidding.
So is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, we all established we love the game.
I don't know. I think we pretty much, if people haven't played this, they pretty much know what's going down.
Yeah, this is our first podcast, but I think we did a good job. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're gonna post this up on Rattlesnake Games. I think I'm gonna post up a forum as well.
One more thing I was thinking, think of think how much, when you watch episode 1, take account of all the books and comics and everything we've already watched or read already.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel so much just, when I watch episode 1 through 6, I feel like, the Clone Wars movie, the CG movie that came out in 2009, I feel like that, and I feel like the show that's on now, and the show that was on in 2005, I really feel like that's a big part of it. I feel like that is Star Wars, just like I do the movies. And I feel like this is Star Wars. Now when I see Vader in episode 4 and 5, I think differently of him. I mean, because of these games. I see more character moments with him, and I love it.
Yeah.
It expands his character.
And, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to hate us for that and think that the only good Star Wars movies are 4 and 5, and 6 was okay, and the 3s are... The prequels are terrible.
Are awful,
and they're not Star Wars. They're George Lucas raping our childhood. But
what did Kyle Newman say on the Force Cast? He's so-called Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think we're at least at our age, the way we are. I mean, we grew up loving the prequels, and
maybe my brother's 42, and he.
And certainly there are people out there that love them. But
my manager at work, he's 39. He loves the prequels.
I don't think that you need to read every single book, read every single comic, play every single game to be a Star Wars fan, but it certainly helps.
Yeah, it helps. I want more. I want more stories.
It adds more to learning more about the characters and learning more about the universe.
That's how much I love. That's how much I love these characters. When I think of the story of this fleshes out Anakin's story more. I see how he was in episode 1. I see honestly I think some of the most terrible things he's done on screen are now in the Force Unleashed. That's he did terrible things in 5. Obviously. Yeah. What he did to Han, he knew that Luke was his son, and he did those things to him. But now you see what he did to Force Unleashed. He did some terrible things. You know what I mean? Like what he's doing, how manipulative he's being, and you see what the Sith do to each other.
I like seeing how pretty much the Rebel Alliance is Vader's fault.
Well, it's Vader and Palpatine's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if it would have been...
They even address that in the end of the first game. They say this Rebel Alliance that...
we've unwillingly created will be our undoing.
Yeah.
And if even a single